Good morning. How are you? So, hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Exit Strategies Radio Show. Guys, we are super duper excited to bring to you the content, the relevant information, if you will, to the real estate market. Our mission here, as we always say, and you guys have picked up from our intro as well as our outro, and sometimes throughout the show, is to empower our community through financial literacy and real estate education. Guys, we are legacy building. So, guys, on that mantra, on that road of legacy building, guys, we have brought to you none other today than our extra special guest, Jessica Collins. So, look, before I go too far, Jessica Collins is Jess to your nest. All right, with Exit Realty Lowcountry Group, guys, y'all give an amazing welcome, a round of applause, and a hello to Jessica. So, Jessica, good morning. How are you?
Hello, good morning. I am well. Thank you for asking. How are you today?
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
That's
So
wonderful.
look, we have been anticipating this show. So Jess, you are an agent with our group, and you
Right.
look that itself has its own, hey, welcome, and we love you and all that stuff. But we want the public to also know and love you. But outside of that, we want you to share your insight because you're an agent that works in the real estate market. You are a professional that do what you do, and in turn, you have your own unique perspectives as well as your opinions about the real estate market. So let's kind of delve into and kind of have a discussion about that today. Is that all right?
That's fine with me.
Awesome, awesome. So if you would tell our listeners a little bit about you.
All right, guys. So I am Jessica Collins. You can call me Jess the Realtor. I am Miss Jess to your nest. Yes. I am so excited to be here today just to talk the good old talk exit strategies in regards to the real estate market here in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. I am so excited to be a part of the Exit Group. It is a phenomenal family to be a part of, and I'm super excited, happy, grateful to be a part of such a wonderful bunch of people. I am, fairly new into the industry. I am 2 years into real estate, and I feel like I am just getting things started, and it is off to a great start with Exit because I feel like I'm getting like all of the tools, the knowledge, the good energy from the folks, the education. Oh my God, the resources, the tools, the network. It is like amazing, and it's just wonderful. So I'm excited to be a part of this show today,
Awesome.
especially being a member of the Exit Realty Lowcountry Group.
So what got you to real estate? Where did you come from? What industry? Because most times, when we encounter people, for me, real estate, I've been in sales and customer service
Mm-hmm.
all my life. Or I say customer service, then sales. But I come from a customer service background.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you? So how did you get started?
All right, well, I'm gonna piggyback off of that because I actually do have a degree in business marketing and customer service. So a lot of my focus for my business is customer service driven. Marketing is one of my jams. But I actually have been interested in real estate since high school. So when I started out, I got my degree just because I knew that I was going to need a formal education, but I really wanted to jump straight into real estate right out of high school, to be honest.
Okay.
I was crazy about HGTV. I mean, really, like most kids were watching like some of the shows like that were happening at the time. Like I really was a Disney kind of kid, but if I wasn't watching Disney Channel or any of the other things that was going on for like the teens, the tween type era, I was really watching HGTV. So I really wanted to get into it straight out of high school. I just wasn't quite sure how that would work. And especially because I had scholarships and whatnot, I didn't want those to go to waste. So I decided to go to school and get a formal education. Life happened. I started working for another company. I was in pharmaceuticals for almost 10 years. And I was like, you know what, this really isn't what I want to do for a living. I still love real estate. So about 2 years ago, I made the jump and just switched over. So here I am.
Okay. Awesome. 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 So that's interesting. So you've always been technically around in sales. So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, let's get over into just wanted our folks to have an understanding of who you are.
Okay.
But let's get on the other side of this and let's start talking about what you have learned. Let's if there was one thing that you could say that you have learned since you've been in the real estate industry that you didn't know before you got in, what would it be?
Um. So I didn't know it would be so like personal when it comes down to people, and I have I'd say decent interpersonal skills, but honey, have to like navigate through people's personal lives in order to like kind of sometimes get business handled. And so a part of that was for me learning to separate like my personal thoughts about certain things and being professional, and always being like in line with ethics. And I mean, I knew how to tap into those specific things, but I didn't realize that like people's personal life would be like placed on you so much. I really didn't expect that. Like some of the things, like I said, marketing, I figured I'd have to talk to people. I was here for that. Customer service, I knew, but I was like, oh goodness, like I am really having to sort
Yeah,
through.
that element of having to work with either a group of people or multiple people, husband, wife, and sometimes they in different places, sometimes they go in different places, and you have to deal with that as well. So you got to learn to navigate between one person who has an agenda that may be in conflict with the other person and their agenda
Very much
and such.
so.
So I can completely
And,
understand
and like one thing I didn't know is that basically I had to learn how to be like a referee.
that.
You know what
So
I mean? Like be fair at all times and not get in the middle. Don't rub people wrong. Know when just to step back. Like, yeah.
yeah,
And also
exactly.
learn when to speak up and to speak. Like that's something that I've been learning more and more every day, because sometimes you can't just stand back. You do have to kind of, let them know, because it's like, okay, all right, guys, this is where we drawing the line, and then we gotta stay
Okay,
focused. So yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. So if you had to tell current market, and we're gonna operate from both sides of the coin. If you
Okay.
had to tell a seller in this market, if you could say one thing to them to help them to understand where we are in the market and where we believe is going, what would you say to them?
So sellers, you have to trust the process. All right. So if you are going to hire a professional to help you get through your real estate transaction, you have to trust the process. And one of the things that you might want to do is really vet your person, get to know your realtor, so that whenever you are going to have to trust them in the process, that you have had enough conversation back and forth. Sometimes, I am learning in relationships with people, you have to make sure that you have a clear understanding for what that person's personality type is and things like that, so that they're able to, put forth what it is that you need. You have to be very transparent about like all of the important keys for you in the transaction. But I would say definitely trust the process, because it's sometimes you gotta let the professional be the professional. We understand that it's your asset, it's your baby. And when you're in a business transaction, on that same note, you got to understand that at this point you are about to let go of this one particular place, and to treat it as business, not so personal, and how people what people think about your property, and whatnot. You got to appeal to the general public that this we're trying to get the sale done, get
and
it.
and and, that's interesting. So in to expound on that a bit, and that's a hard thing to do. So I used to have this conversation with people. Oftentimes sellers, then they have so many things going on. Someone's been in a home for a long time, maybe raised children, or or maybe they had a parent that lived with them that has gone on, because you see that happen, and people decide,
Mhm.
or maybe it's a spouse or something. They and that all the memories are tied to the home. Emotionally, it's very difficult, if not impossible, for them to detach.
Right.
So, they have to be able to both deal with, and sometimes we have to, as real estate professionals, have to help them to navigate, if you will, have to navigate that. Okay, well, look, I want to sell the home. So that means I got to be able to let go of the memories, or I have to take the memories of the home somewhere else with me. I have to, kind of compartmentalize them somewhere else in
Right.
order to be able to get through.
And listen,
So
and we understand that COVID is going on, but in order for your house to show, honey, those people have to come in your home. They're gonna have to walk through there and to see what is happening and what is going on. Just get your Lysol, your microban spray and whatnot. Whatever it's gonna take to wipe it down after the fact. But I mean, some of the things that it's gonna have to happen to get it done. It's gonna be okay. But we
I, I can understand that. So for our listeners, guys, please understand that these questions, this conversation is not scripted. I am hitting
no.
Jessica with these questions off the cuff. She is responding because she is responding with what is in her mind and in her heart, what she knows, because this is what she deal with. And guys, we have to understand that, so we're trying to give you guys a little bit of insight into, kind of the expectations and the things that you may want to know. Now, it's coming up on the first break, but I want to ask you another question. If you can hit on it very briefly,
Okay.
what is the biggest challenge that sellers face in this market?
The biggest challenge that sellers are facing in this market here, I'd probably say, I don't know. I
That's a
guess
hard one.
multiple offers would be a good thing because the inventory is kind of low. So when they're out there, but I don't know. I guess as a seller, having to move on the different terms that people are putting out here just to remain competitive. Because people have a whole lot of different ways and moves. Just being able to get up and out of the houses quicker than what they expected back before. We have like lenders and stuff that can really make things happen in like way less than a month. No more than 45 days. So you got to be ready. If you're going to hit the market, be ready to be up out of your house, have your people in line, be ready to pay if you're going to need to pay for certain things. But I mean, that's probably going to be the challenge is just moving fast.
That's fair. That's
Maybe.
fair. And that's a good answer. Very good answer.
Okay.
So if you're a seller, if you're looking to sell, Jess, I want you to share your contact information before we take this break. But if you are selling, you're looking at selling, you can text. Yes, you can text. So give the people your text code, Jess, so they can get your
Yes.
contact information.
So, guys, real easy, real quick. You can text Jess to your nest to 85377. That's my vanity code. All you put in there is JESS, the number 2YOURNEST. Text that to 85377, and we can talk selling your property and all that good stuff. Really.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Jess, look here, we're going to put a quick pause right here so we can, do our business, if you will, recognize our sponsors, recognize our top producing agents
They are
at our office, and we're going to go on to the next piece. So, our listeners, guys, you guys hold tight. We're going to stop right here, and we're going to make it happen for you. And we'll be right back.
all right, guys. Hang tight.
Congratulations to Exit Realty Lowcountry Group's Realtor of the Week, none other than Kashana Wine. You can reach Kashana by dialing 843-818-3591 or text Amazing Homes. That's Amazing Homes, AMAZINGHOMES to 85377. Y'all give Kashana a holler now. And we're back, guys. Second segment, Exit Strategies radio show. Yes, that's where we are. That's what we're doing. Hey,
Yeah.
look, we're having a dynamic time today. We're interviewing, having a conversation with one of our own, Jessica Collins, Jess to Your Nest with Exit Realty Lowcountry Group. Jess,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
So before the break, we were talking on the seller side. So, guys, we got to share this information with you, okay? So on
Yes.
the other side, we're talking about sellers. We're talking about, I'm hitting Jess with these questions off, she's just boom, 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 coming with it. So if you're a buyer, just let's talk about what is the biggest challenge outside of inventory, because that's the easy one.
Okay.
What is the biggest challenge for a buyer in the current market?
So buying power right now is probably one of the biggest challenges. So in order to be um a contender and to be looked at in a bid war, if you will, because most times folks who are out here, unless you're an investor, you are mostly attracted to the shiny looking properties, and everyone else is attracted to those same shiny looking properties. So in order to stand out, you need to be ready. You need to have a fairly decent amount of earnest money to put down. You need to be ready to close fast, because oftentimes that's much more appealing. And you definitely need to have your lending stuff together. I'd say buyer prep is the biggest thing here for you. You definitely need to make sure that you have like all your ducks in a row. I wouldn't suggest just getting pre-qualified. If you're really trying to get out there, you need to get pre-approved so that you know everything about yourself and your finances prior to going in on a bid for a property, and then get your feelings hurt because you can't produce like you thought. So yeah,
That's
so just
fair.
understand that there's a difference between being pre-qualified and being fully pre-approved, going through, pretty much the underwriting type of process and making sure that all your papers line up, and just having that cash ready to go. Like putting up as much as you possibly can is going to be helpful. And also make yourself available to move quick. Tap into the technologies. If you can't be somewhere, have your realtor to FaceTime you, video chat you, just at least so you can see, and I mean, just be ready to go.
That
Just
is that's a strong answer right there.
yeah.
Buying power. See, most people don't understand that as interest rates go up, your approval goes down. I just had a buyer. Well, my listing, but a buyer just experienced this because they didn't qualify for a certain program on the
Mm-hmm.
property because they had to fit in an insurance policy that was beyond what their debt ratio would allow. So the lender had to switch into another program. And
Mm.
what happened was, in switching to another program, the interest rate was higher because interest rates are going up, guys. So y'all please recognize that. And that interest rate increase took their buying power down on this house from mid 200s to close to 200,000. So they're no longer qualified. And it's hard enough to find a home in this market already,
Mm-hmm.
but it took it down. So Jess, I'm gonna throw something at you statistic wise, and I
Let's see.
want you to expound on it.
Okay.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So our MLS, Charleston MLS, and I say our, but our listing service in the Charleston region.
Okay.
It we're currently at about, I think someone posted a couple of days ago, but we're currently just over 1,000. We don't have 1,100
Nope.
units on the market, residential homes on the market. Okay, a healthy market for Charleston is 13 to 15,000 units, about 13, 14 and change is what we say is healthy. Because a mixed market, healthy market, a balanced market is, when you get above 6 months, you're into a buyer's market. When you're about 5 to 6 months, you're into the middle market. Anything below about 5 or so months of inventory, technically really into a seller's market, because again, sellers know that people are coming and they're going to wait, which is, we're into an extreme. Never have experienced this or seen this in Charleston. I've been doing this 18 years now.
Mm.
So we are selling, and this is where I want you to pick up and go from. We are selling in our market roughly about 1,800 units, 1,900 units per month. So that means that we're putting on that many units, but we're putting on more units, but all those units are going, so that we're left with roughly 1,000 properties on the market at any given point in time. So it's not that people aren't buying homes; it is that homes are coming on, they're going right off.
Right.
So what does that present in that as an opportunity for a buyer? Because sometimes people hear those statistics and they get discouraged, they get disheartened. What does that present as an opportunity that you believe for a buyer?
Okay, so opportunity itself is going to be in appreciation of their value of their homes. So just knowing that the market is operating the way it is. So coming in as a buyer, and I believe this is what you mean when you're asking me this, but coming in as a buyer, you're always supposed to be in a mind frame of being a seller also. So when you look at your property, you got to look at it from a standpoint of, at some point I'm going to have to resell this. So when the demand is high and the supply is low, you get a greater deal of appreciation. So that going into this particular home and whatever is going to be a positive thing for you. So the appreciation of the home is going to essentially give you more power in lots of things that you're going to want to do, let's say in the future. I mean, because home ownership is just pretty much everything. It's one of the greatest assets and forms of collateral that a person can have. So just knowing that when you go in and when you are, an official owner, you step into a place of, financial
Yep.
fit, if you will.
Okay, so what you're saying is, oftentimes people are just looking at the daunting, what could be a daunting task of finding a home, blah 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 blah. But if we think beyond just this, that okay, well, look, you're going to buy this home, but you got to understand as the market is progressing, you're going in and you're going to begin to, potentially build wealth immediately because the market is progressing and moving forward at such a pace, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So let me kind of reframe and bring in this question.
Okay.
So, obviously you're working with buyers and sellers and you are, getting a feel for, what they're going through
Hmm.
and what they and oh Lord, and what's happening with them because it is definitely interesting out here currently. But do you believe, so let me frame the question this way. Do you believe that there is still, matter of fact, two things. One, do you believe there's still opportunity out here for a buyer in this current market?
Absolutely. There's still opportunity. This is a time for you to buy or sell. You're going to have to live somewhere regardless. The rental market is going up. So either you're going to pay a mortgage regardless. It's either going to be someone else's mortgage or it's going to be yours. So there's still an opportunity. You just got to get ready to roll your sleeves up or put your boxing gloves on and get ready to fight a little. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely a great opportunity now.
Good deal. So the next question I want to get to, you attended recently the residential market update that was hosted, by the Charleston Association of Realtors. Shout out to our local Realtors Association. And about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I had Josh, our government affairs director, on, and we talked about that housing study that was presented at the residential market update. So you were there.
I was.
Yeah. So, question for you, as far as your interpretation, if you will, of what you learned. What out of that housing study do you think is relevant to both buyers and sellers in this current market?
So Um, gosh, they gave such great material at that particular event. Lots of things to think about. There's a lot of growth that's happening in Charleston. Lots of plants that are coming here. The expansion of the port. The commercial cruises that are taking place here in Charleston. It's
Mhm.
the
So
statistics are
let
showing
me
that we are definitely progressing. I'm
so
sorry.
let me no no so let me jump in with 2 points. So with 2 points for you to expound on. One, let's talk on the rental side. So we saw rental rates increase significantly
Yeah.
in the market 1 year over another, the time period, and we talked about this a couple of times on the show. But oftentimes people are looking and thinking, well, home prices have skyrocketed, but they're not looking and they're just saying, well, I'll just continue to rent, but they're not noticing or catching that in conjunction. rental rates have increased significantly, correct?
Yes, they have.
So you're paying in this climate, you're paying more to rent. I mean, I was looking at about 2 years ago, a house. I saw it go past me the other day as a rental.
Mm-hmm.
That probably would have rented for maybe 2,100,
Mm.
maybe 22, but probably 21, 2,200. I saw it go past me available for rent at 800, excuse me, at $3,000, at $3,000 a month. And 2 years ago, you could have rented that same house for 21, maybe 2,200. So now here we are a couple of
Ooh,
years later, and the rental rates have skyrocketed as well.
wow.
So on the other side of that, home prices also have escalated. That was something else that came from the study as well. However, in proportion, that that house that you're going to rent for $3,000 in this current market, I mean, would you agree or disagree? You probably could buy that same house for probably a 2,000, around 2,000, maybe a little bit less mortgage payment, but
Hormone.
somewhere, definitely somewhere like that, right?
I would agree, absolutely. And not only that, when you're renting, you are essentially throwing money out the window. You're just opening the window up and just
So you're absolutely positive, correct, that things are just you just opening the window and just tossing the money out of the window, and that is huge because that is a waste of your resources,
it
right?
is.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you one final question as we lead out for today's show, because it's
Okay,
always important. As realtors, we are involved and engaged with our community. It's beyond helping people buy and sell. It's beyond buying and selling. It's beyond the paycheck, so to speak. It's
it is.
it's our commitment to our community. So, are you a simple question? But are you in favor of smart growth within our region, or not? So are you in favor of, plans to address affordability?
Oh yeah.
Are you in favor of plans to help people with commuting, because that's something that's also big, but also making sure that our region economically is stable, and in turn we're offering good paying jobs, or have good paying jobs in our region, so that people can afford to live where they work.
Yes, I'm absolutely in favor. Guys, I did not say this before, but I am a native to the Charleston area. So when I see the exponential growth here, I also am looking around at my peers and everyone and where they are and what they can afford to do. So I'm definitely here for the the affordability for everyone to be able to own a piece of this beautiful place. So I'm definitely here for that. All of the transit ideas that they are pushing, I'm in support of that as well. Definitely want to see more people be able to be in a more comfortable situation in terms of living in this glorious and beautiful city, the holy city, the port city. Like it's an amazing place. So yeah, I'm definitely here in support of that. It's definitely not just about the checks. Who wants to sit to the table by themselves? I mean, you definitely want to be able to see the people that you know and have grown up with and love and care for are able to also live, life abundantly.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Jess, thank you so much. For our listeners, one more time, you can reach Jess at Jess to Your Nest. So text Jess to Your Nest. That's JESS, the number two, YOUR, Nest. Yes, Your Nest, NEST, to 85377. Jess, thank you so much again for being a
Thank
part
you
of
for
the Exit Strategies radio show family, for joining us today. And we appreciate you. And if you
yeah,
would just
guys for being
let our
here.
listeners know.
I'll catch y'all next time.
Awesomeness. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you
Thanks.
soon. Guys, that was a great show today, and we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Exit Strategies Radio Show. My name is Corwin J. Millette. Yes, that is me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in for today's episode. Exit Strategies is my baby. It is how I give back to our community. It is how I foster goodwill, spread good news, and trustfully help you get great results. Guys, as I always say to you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And we're going to see you guys out there in the streets.